The woman's first act after being reborn is to slap her foster sister several times. Her brothers rush forward to protect her, and each of them also gives her a slap. This is because in the previous life, her foster sister caused an accident and fled, tricking her into taking the blame and serving 3 years in prison. She had promised that after getting out, she would help him and gain recognition from his 3 brothers. She admitted that over the years, she had stolen his poems and lyrics. He didn't expect that he would spend 3 years in prison and end up with terminal cancer. After getting out, he found out that his foster sister hadn't kept her promise and had taken all his creative credit. His 3 brothers thought it was his foster sister who had been behind the scenes creating and planning, helping their career reach new heights. They even announced in front of the media that they only had one sister, the scheming foster sister. The woman who had served 3 years in jail couldn't accept this. She went back and told them about how she had taken the blame for the jail time and how she had written songs for her brothers before going to prison, but they didn't believe her. At that moment, the foster sister knelt down and put a knife in the woman's hand, then again falsely accused the woman of trying to kill her. When the mother saw this, she immediately grabbed a baseball bat and hit the woman. The second brother, wanting to get revenge for the foster sister, also hit her with all his strength. Before dying, the woman blamed her older brother for bringing her back from the orphanage. However, the brother said that the biggest regret of his life was bringing her back to the Gu family. At that moment, the woman realized that she had been wronged all her life. If she could start over, she would never be so naive. When she opened her eyes again, she found herself back 3 years ago on the day when the foster sister caused an accident and fled. At that time, the foster sister was begging her to take the blame for the jail time. This time, the woman wouldn't make the same mistake. She kicked the foster sister away and kicked her several times. The foster sister still tried to threaten the woman using her brothers, but the woman no longer fell for it. She slapped her several times until she was defeated. The mother and brothers heard the commotion and came running. Seeing the woman dare to hurt her precious daughter, the foster sister immediately grabbed a baseball bat and swung at the woman. However, the woman pulled the foster sister in front of her as a shield, and the bat hit the foster sister on the head. The woman's action shocked everyone present. At that moment, the third brother stepped in to defend the foster sister, but the woman slapped him too. The mother ordered the woman to leave the Gu family immediately, but when the woman left, there would be no one to take the blame for the foster sister's hit and run. The foster sister quickly stopped her and twisted the story, claiming that it was the woman who had driven the car and that she had just offered to take the blame. If the woman left, the foster sister would have to go to jail. After hearing this, everyone blamed the woman and wanted her to call the police. Soon, the traffic team leader arrived and asked the woman to cooperate with the investigation. The foster sister thought that since she drove fast that night, no one would recognize her. If she insisted that it was the woman who drove the car, she could avoid responsibility. However, the woman firmly stated that the driver was the foster sister and asked the officer to check the surveillance footage. The scheming foster sister was worried about the consequences and tried to threaten the woman again, but this time it didn't work. At that moment, the older brother returned and didn't believe that the 2 sisters would commit a hit and run. To ensure fairness, the officer had to investigate the surveillance footage. However, the vehicle was moving too fast that night, making it impossible to see the face clearly. The officer took both women back for further investigation. The foster sister didn't want to cooperate and cried out her innocence. Suddenly, the older brother remembered that the driver was wearing a windbreaker that he had given the woman for her 20th birthday. He was certain that the driver was the woman. However, they didn't know that the woman didn't have a driver's license and couldn't drive. Also, the windbreaker he gave her had already been stolen by the foster sister. But the older brother didn't believe that the foster sister would do such a thing. Everyone was convinced that the woman was the driver that night. The officer couldn't stand it anymore and instructed the technical department to check all the surveillance footage at the intersections, vowing to